Have you ever wondered why Blender fans are so enthusiastic, or why studios still swear by Maya, even though Autodesk does not offer the most exciting updates? As you know, there is a clear contrast between community-funded and independently developed tools, like Blender, Cascadeur, Houdini, Jenga effects tools and so on one side, and on the other side, big corporate developers. I mean companies like Autodesk, Maxon, and Adobe. Both sides make interesting software, and I would say generally speaking the difference is the rate of features and updates, and how excited users are about this software. So what is the secret there? Before we continue, I want to take a moment and talk about today's sponsor, Humanalloy. They are officially releasing a massive new library featuring more than 4,700 ultra-realistic 3D human characters. Every model in this collection is fully scanned and professionally cleaned, so you don't have to worry about messy geometry, texture artifacts, or inconsistent detail. And each character sits at around 40,000 triangles and comes with a clean 2K diffuse texture, making them lightweight enough for large scenes while still looking realistic. The characters come in a wide variety of natural poses, making them perfect for quickly populating environments, architectural visualization, commercial shots, or any project that needs crowds without spending hours on setup. What really makes this release special is the pricing and exclusivity. The entire collection is available for $1,150 for freelancers and $2,310 for studios, and it is a lifetime purchase. You can even download the full library locally, but here is the catch. Only 200 seats are available for Black Friday, so these 4,700 characters have never been used before, and they won't be sold anywhere else, meaning only 200 people worldwide will ever have access to them. So if you want to secure this rare, once-only character collection, check out the link in the description down below. And now back to the video. An excellent example is Blender, which is the poster child for the community-funded development. As you know, it is overseen by the non-profit Blender Foundation, whose mission is to provide a free and open-source 3D software. And generally speaking, Blender's development is sustained by donations, grants, and sponsors, rather than product sales. I mean, they sell some products, but I would say it is insignificant compared to the other sources of funding. This model means Blender priorities can align with community needs, rather than maximizing profit. On the other hand, software such as Cascadeur or maybe Sound Effects Houdini are independently developed by smaller companies. Size varies, but they are not giant monopolies like Adobe or Autodesk. They aren't open source either, but as private entities, they have more freedom to reinvest earnings into something that artists can appreciate. For example, Sound Effects, the developers of Houdini, has remained one of the last independent high-end 3D software providers, funding its research and development through commercial licenses while staying independent to keep competition alive. And thank God this is the case. And I would guess everyone is happy about this. These small to mid-range companies often introduce affordable tiers, like Houdini Indie, Cascadeur Indie, and so on, as part of their business model to attract individuals and small studios. And truth to be told, Autodesk started doing this too, with 3ds Max and Maya Indie, but I think this was a reaction to how good 3D software are becoming, especially the free ones such as Blender, which I believe is a logical move from their side. In contrast, big companies like Autodesk, Maxon, and Adobe fund their 3D software through corporate investments and sales, usually subscriptions. And the problem here is that these companies answer to shareholders and large consumers, and their software is a product that is expected to turn a profit, which means they are between the hammer of shareholders and the anvil of the community, designers and engineers. On the other hand, Maxon, the makers of Cinema 4D and now ZBrush, and Adobe with tools such as the Substance family, rely on sales and subscription models to be profitable. But I don't believe this is a problem for them in the first place. You see, because they are backed with significant capital, corporate tools don't usually face funding shortfalls, but they do face pressure to maintain growth. And this is the problem when it comes to updates. This can influence development focus, which means sometimes they release major versions that look shiny on the surface to fool shareholders and investors, but for the community, it looks like a nothing sandwich in a lot of cases. And unlike commercial software, like Blender for example, which as we said relies on donations and sponsorships, If the community or the corporate funding dips, the development can slow down or kick in foundation right now to a certain extent. On the other hand, corporate products generally don't have this issue. For example, Autodesk is not going to stop developing Maya due to lack of funding because they don't have this problem. The question is how good it will be at the end of the day. One of the biggest perks of using community-driven software is the voice users have in development. With Blender, for example, development is remarkably transparent. Users and developers communicate openly on forums and mailing lists, which ensures that software development can align closely with users' needs, even though this is not always the case. But generally speaking, feature requests and feedback from artists can directly inspire changes in Blender's frequent releases. In fact, I would say Blender's open source nature allows a smooth integration of community feedback, which steers the next versions of updates in a certain direction, even though this effect can be sometimes minimal. Cascadeur's team, for example, actively solicited feedback from users, especially indie developers on Reddit, and adjusted their roadmap based on user suggestions. And I would say this direct communication makes users feel heard and can steer development priorities in real time. And this is the case even with bigger companies such as Sign Effects, the developers of Houdini. While it is a commercial entity, it is known for its close-knit community of VFX artists and often implements features requested by studios or discussed on forums by VFX artists. Corporate development software, on the other hand, typically has a more top-down approach, but user influence isn't completely absent. It is just channeled differently. You see, the interesting thing is that big companies do gather user feedback through beta programs, user research, and industry advisors, but don't get it mixed up. These are representatives from large studios and the biggest key clients, which is not a surprise. This means that the average user's influence is kinda limited compared to the open projects. If you find a bug in Maya, or you want a new feature, you will likely submit a support ticket or vote on an official forum and hope it makes the cut in the future updates. That is, if you get the attention of Autodesk in the first place. In fact, some users have been demanding features for years, even decades, to no avail. As you can tell, it is less of a democratic relationship, so you can't directly tweak the software yourself or integrate community mods as easily. But the good news is that third-party developers create plugins for Max, Maya, Cinema 4D, and even ZBrush, and they do this all the time, which means you don't have to wait for the big boys upstairs. You see, often studios can write plugins or scripts too, with Mel and Python for Maya and C++ plugins for Max, to be able to customize their pipelines. So overall, corporate developers like Autodesk prioritize feedback from their bigger customers. So clearly, a film studio's need weighs more than an individual freelancer's wishlist. As a result, individual users kind of feel unheard. And Autodesk in particular has a reputation of being disconnected, which hasn't always been the case, but things changed over the last couple of decades. So what do you guys think about this topic? If you have something to add, please leave it in the comment section down below. And there you have it, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe to the channel to receive more videos like this. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.